It's time for our cash tag segment. For that, let's bring in Andy Swan. He's a co-founder at Likefolio. Welcome back to the show, Andy.
Hey, happy Friday.
Oh, happy Friday. So markets are up this year. Bitcoin's nearly tripled this year. And Coinbase surged into new 52-week highs. I mean, this thing's exploded nearly 400%. Andy, you got to tell me that the data's probably supporting this move a little bit just because of the move in Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, it really is. Coinbase, when you think about Bitcoin, you think about, excuse me, crypto. Coinbase is kind of the only real player in terms of an exchange or brokerage for buying Bitcoin that has that kind of regulatory almost seal of approval. That may be taken a little too far, but this is a publicly traded company that has that reports its earnings, reports its balance sheet to the public. Unlike FTX and some of these others, there's definitely no mixing of client funds with company funds, all that type of stuff. And so as other brokerages and exchanges have failed in the crypto space, Coinbase has become kind of the default solution. And with cryptocurrency prices higher, especially Bitcoin, that increases the transaction fees that Coinbase takes in because they take a percentage of each transaction. And so overall, we're seeing really solid growth for Coinbase. Web visits are up 24% year over year. Consumer happiness, even though it's taken a little bit of a dip here recently due to some things that the company said a little bit politically, that's also high and much higher than versus competitors. So overall, we see 2024 as potentially another great year for this company.
Andy, I have a real simple question, and I want your opinion on it more than anything. First of all, tell me where Bitcoin's going, and I'll tell you probably where Coinbase is going, right?
Yep.
But my question is, with an underlying that trades stock, trades an underlying, trades options, has exercise and assignment in options that are not tight markets, but not too bad. Is this a better proxy for Bitcoin than actually trading Bitcoin? Because it's more stable, it's more regulated, it's something and the correlations are almost 1-to-1, Andy.
Yeah, with Coinbase, you get a business as well, so that helps. You get a business with what I feel like is a real nice, moat around it in terms of competition. I don't see anyone coming up and really competing with Coinbase anytime soon. And so I do think it's a good proxy play for Bitcoin. If you think Bitcoin's going higher, then almost certainly, Coinbase would go higher. The only one I would think that could possibly be even more of a proxy is MicroStrategy. They have so much Bitcoin on their balance sheet that it's almost a proxy play for Bitcoin. So until we get that spot ETF, I think those are the two stocks that people are going to play for Bitcoin going forward.
Andy, when I look at this, you said if Bitcoin's going higher, potentially, Coinbase is going to be highly correlated, right? But what if Bitcoin continues to kind of gyrate around the current levels? Because I always think Coinbase does well when there's volatility in this name, and maybe not the moves themselves, but the volatility within the moves, the sharp moves that we've seen, whether it's to the upside or the downside. We've had great gains here, so not surprising to see Coinbase up. But what if we just slow down and grind slightly higher? Is that going to hurt Coinbase? Because this is all about transactions, right?
Yeah, it's all about transactions. So I think you're right. Volatility is definitely a friend of Coinbase to a certain extent. They don't want customers blowing up. I think that the last year has been kind of that perfect storm for Coinbase because, like you said, Bitcoin's been going up. People have gained more confidence in it. It's been in the news. And so I think when the volatility is up, that's the perfect scenario for Coinbase. When the volatility is down, I'm not so sure. I do think that grinding sideways here, in the $40,000 to $45,000 range for a while is probably pretty bullish for Coinbase and for Bitcoin, just because it establishes it establishes a price range and it establishes confidence in the minds of investors. But yeah, I think you're right. Ultimately, what Coinbase dreams of is what they got in 2023, and that is volatility to the upside.
Yeah, and just real quick here, Andy, the stock's up nearly 400%. I mean, do you wait for a pullback in a name like this, especially when Bitcoin's kind of consolidating here?
Yeah, I like Coinbase a lot. I think you can't. I don't think you can go wrong buying it. But then again, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. Going forward. So that's the baseline that you have to have. If you're bullish on Bitcoin, then I don't see any reason to wait to own Coinbase. But if you're looking for a pullback, you might actually set up your targets or your watch list based on Bitcoin price more than on Coinbase price, and say, if Bitcoin pulls back to 32,000, I'm going to take a look at Coinbase if it's pulled back as well. That could be a decent strategy.
Yeah. All right. Great stuff. Great data as always. Andy, have a great Christmas, buddy.
You too. Merry Christmas.
All right. That's Andy Swan, co-founder at Likefolio, breaking down the data for us.